Hey there, are you a smart, ambitious, caring woman who's feeling overcommitted, overworked, and burned out? In this video, I'm going to share 3 tips for ending overcommitment for good. So if you're new to me, I'm Shannon Tran, founder of Money Mindset Mastery Academy, where I help ambitious women like you create financial confidence from the inside out. And it all starts with letting go of the tendency to overcommit. So, tip number 1 is to know your priorities. Know your priorities. So, what happens when we're overcommitting? It's because we don't know our priorities. We're saying yes to everything and we think everything is important, as opposed to getting crystal clear about what are the number 1, 2, and 3 priorities in our life right now and making decisions from your top 3 priorities so that you're not overcommitted and burned out and ending up with a lack of resources, or worse, feeling like you're failing and not doing a good job because you simply can't put the time and energy into everything when you overcommit. So the first thing is know your priorities. That's going to help with your decision making, so you know what to say yes to and, more importantly, what to say no to. All right, tip number 2 to avoid and eliminate overcommitment for good is really learning the skill of delegation. So if you're like me, you probably like to do things a certain way, and you want it done at a certain time, and so you tend not to delegate. You tend to take it on. You tend to think, I'll just do this myself. And if you keep doing that, it's going to slow you down and it's going to create a bottleneck and it's going to lead to you overcommitting. So getting really good at who can I give this to? Who can I delegate this to? Who can I offload this to? And it's going to be someone in your life that can do it better than you can, right? So and it could be simple things in your life. So if you're a mom, it could literally be, having the kids put the dishes away or having the kids help with dinner. No, it's not going to be perfect. But the main thing is you're teaching other people to have responsibility too, so you're not overcommitted and taking it all on yourself. So I like how I once heard it, it's who, not what. So thinking of it that way, who can support me with this? Who can I ask for help? Who can be a great resource for this? And what happens when we delegate and we empower the other person, they're building their confidence too. It's hard for us to delegate when we have trust issues, control issues, think that things have to be a certain way. All of those have to really be let go in order for us to not overcommit, get really good about delegating and using our resources wisely. So that's tip number 2, is learning to delegate. When you learn to delegate, that is going to help you eliminate overcommitment for good. Okay, tip number 3 is really about internal leadership. So this is about you releasing the need to be liked and giving yourself permission to set healthy limits. So sometimes as caring women, we will say yes to things, right? We'll agree to things, we'll say yes to things without really thinking it through and thinking about how it contributes to our priorities, our values, or our overall plan. And so it's important to give yourself time to really ask yourself, is this something I should be committing to right now? Or is this something that really, it's a nice thing to consider, but I really have no business doing this right now, right? And so what happens is when we give ourselves permission to say no, when we give ourselves permission to think about it or negotiate or change our mind, it frees us up from feeling obligated, from feeling overwhelmed. So look at your current commitments right now and just really ask yourself, are these old commitments that I've made, or do I need to renegotiate because I'm actually overcommitted? So look at the 3 tips that I offered you today. Which one could you use right now that you could implement right now to get out of overcommitment for good? So when you are committing to something, you have the energy, the resources, the desire, and the ability to follow through. The worst thing is when we don't set ourselves up for success because we've overcommitted. So here's what I want you to do right now. Look at all of your current commitments. Write them down on a piece of paper. Like literally write them down, because it's important for you to see what you're committed to. And check in with yourself. Like whatever you've committed to, does this still feel really aligned with you, where you're headed, your values, what's important to you? And if not, what could you do to course correct? Maybe it's tip number 1, right? Where you're clarifying your priorities and values. Maybe it's tip number 2, where you're delegating. Maybe you could free some of your time by delegating to others, reassign it to someone else, right? Enroll someone into taking on part of that responsibility and show them how it's going to benefit them, how it's a win for them. Maybe it's going to help them with their confidence or their skill set, or maybe you're going to compensate them in some way, right? And then tip number 3 is really giving yourself permission to say no, renegotiate, change your mind, and let go of old commitments. So I would love to hear how you're going to implement this and what you found helpful. And if you're new to me, again, I'm Shannon Tran, founder of Money Mindset Mastery Academy, where I help ambitious women create financial confidence from the inside out. Now, if you would like to learn how to maximize your fulfillment so that you can really operate from a place where you do have clear priorities, just message me or reach out to me at support@ShannonTranPhD. I would love to send you a free gift on how to maximize your fulfillment so that you are operating from a place where you have commitments that you feel good about, they're commitments that you can move forward on, and they're actually going to be fulfilling to you. Okay, until we talk again, bye for now.